Choosing to work with Resolute Forest products means choosing to work safe.
To all the transportation professionals watching this video, hello. Did you know that most days over 300 loads of logs, chips, and biomass are delivered to one of our mills? That's over 90,000 trips per year, and over 30 million kilometers driven on forestry roads, on the provincial highway system, through our communities, and to our sites. Transportation is the most visible aspect of the forest industry. It's where the citizens of Northwestern Ontario and those traveling through our region see a part of our industry on a road network that we share with all citizens. The most crucial aspect of trucking is that you go home safe every day, and that every load is delivered safely to our sites. This video was produced for you. It lays out some of the key safety ingredients of safe trucking, and importantly, the expectations when you arrive and deliver a load at one of our sites. On behalf of Resolute, I'd like to thank you for your commitment to safety and for your participation in our industry and this great business. Thank you.
There are 4 key safety policies to know when working with Resolute Forest products. Personal protective equipment must be worn when outside of the cab. This includes a hard hat, high-vis clothing, safety glasses, cut-4 gloves, and 8-inch steel-toe boots. Resolute Forest Products Working with Heights policy states that workers must tie off if working above 4 feet and not using one of the stands provided. Always maintain 3-point contact when entering or exiting truck cabs. Be mindful of danger zones. When being loaded and unloaded, remain in the cab. Otherwise, respect the danger zones and stay 200 feet away from working machinery. To protect our environment, never throw garbage out of the truck. Before starting the day's operations, make sure a thorough circle check of the vehicle is completed. Ensure everything is in good working order so you can haul safely. Prior to leaving the yard, fill out your logbook and Haul 360 risk analysis booklet. Note any potential hazards or out-of-the-ordinary details. This allows the driver to take a moment to assess the risks and make a plan to do the job safely. The Haul 360 risk analysis booklets may be audited, so be sure to fill them out for each job. There are 5 main safety procedures to remember when traveling on a bush road. No unauthorized passengers are allowed. Obey speed limits. Maintain good radio communication. Ensure you are on the proper channel and call out mileage markers so other drivers know where you are.
Empty starting in Black Sturgeon.
This is especially important when crossing single-lane sections and bridges. Loaded trucks always have the right of way. It's important to remember that forest roads are shared with the public. Always be aware and drive defensively as they do not have radio communication. When traveling on forest roads, remember, no unauthorized passengers are permitted. Obey posted speed limits. Maintain radio communication. Loaded trucks have the right of way, and be aware as main roads are shared with the public. Whether you drive a log or a chip truck, It is important to act safely while the truck is being loaded and respect the danger zones. Drivers must remain in the cab while the truck is getting loaded. Never exit the cab into the danger zone unless you have communicated and received authorization by the equipment operator. All activities must be paused and equipment placed in a safe position. When outside of the cab, drivers must respect the danger zone and may not re-enter their truck cab until they receive authorization from the equipment operator and all activities have paused. During the loading process, it is important that you maintain radio communication with the equipment operator for specific instructions. Let's review. When the truck is getting loaded, remain in the cab and stay out of the danger zone unless authorized by the equipment operator and all activities are paused. Maintain good communication with the equipment operator. Once your truck is loaded, it is important to secure the load. For log trucks, this must be done as close to the loaded area as possible. The top of each loaded tier must be crowned to allow proper cable contact and pressure to secure the load. Make sure there is nothing out of the ordinary. Loose materials such as boulders or other debris left in the load can be a serious safety risk should they fall out en route. They can also lead to significant damage in the mill processes. Communicate with the log loader if there are any issues. Trim any branches, bark, or other material that extends out from the load. After the load has been checked, apply tie-down cables to secure the log load. Prior to entering onto the highway from a bush road, an additional load check must be performed. This includes securing the load again, as the load may have shifted or settled since the initial loading. After chip trucks are loaded, they are to make their way to the designated tarping station. Where provided, drivers are to use the tarping stands to safely cover their load. At no time should a driver ever be on top of their load without proper fall protection to secure a tarp. Call for assistance if a load cannot be secured safely from stands or ground level. Let's review. After being loaded, log trucks are to secure their load as close to the loading area as possible. Check for anything out of the ordinary and trim all loose branches or bark. Chip trucks are to make use of the provided stands to tarp their load. Never climb onto a load, as working above 4 feet is not permitted without fall arrest equipment. Call for assistance if the load cannot be secured from the ground or stand. Always check your load before entering onto highways from a forest road. Once you reach your designated site, there are new hazards and procedures to consider. Just like when traveling on bush roads, obey posted speed limits and use caution as rail crossings and other machinery share the yard. Each yard is different and has its own set of procedures and layout. Every new driver must read the site orientation package the first time they arrive on site. An annual review of the orientation package is required, as procedures can change from time to time. Seat belts must be worn while the vehicle is in motion. Headlights must be on at all times. Smoking is not allowed in buildings, the scale area, or the yard. This includes inside any and all vehicles. Cell phone use is prohibited while driving. Yard equipment has the right of way. Be aware of your surroundings, as you are likely to interact with other yard activities. Truck maintenance is not allowed on site. If there is a mechanical issue or a truck is stuck, all towing and pushing procedures must be coordinated through the site personnel. All loads must be secured before driving onto the scales. Prior to driving onto the scale, all trucks must come to a complete stop. Make sure that any truck ahead is completely off the scale to allow the indicator and display to reset. Each site will have designated areas to remove cables for log trucks and tarps on chip trucks after the weigh-in process. These areas will be identified in the site-specific orientation and are to be used at all times. Both the Atikokan and Ignace sites are equipped with an engineered uncabling unit for log trucks. It is required that they are used for all uncabling. Log trucks are to communicate with the yard loader operator on the appropriate radio channel. The loader operator will remain your point of contact and will direct you for unloading. During the unloading process, drivers are to remain in the truck cab at all times. If a driver must exit the cab, they must first contact the loader operator and get authorization to exit only once the unloading process is suspended. Once the unloading process is complete, the truck must scale out before leaving the site. Tarp stands are provided on site to apply and remove trailer tarps. At no point should any driver stand on top of their load. After scaling in, the driver will be issued a scale ticket based on their chip product and will be directed to a proper dumping station. Remember, full PPE is required at all times outside of the truck cab. Dumping procedures will vary with the different dump systems and will be explained during the site orientation. If at any time you are unsure, ask for guidance. Once the dump station is clear, the truck may enter onto the platform. Ensure the truck is parked so that the back stop will support the back bumper and the pressure is relieved from the airbags. Double-check the chip bin to ensure there is room for your load and that there are not obstructions. With the bin clear and the truck in position, the driver can start the unloading process from the cabana. During the unloading process, no one is allowed in the cab of the truck or on the elevating platform. Once the unloading process is complete, the truck must scale out before leaving the site. By following these procedures, we can limit injury and incidents, making for a safe work environment for all workers. If an incident occurs, it is important to report it immediately. Communicate with the yard for any environmental or safety concerns. If you see a hazard, please say something. We want to hear from you. Let's review the policies we've learned about today. Resolute has 4 key policies to remember. Always wear your personal protective equipment when outside the truck cab. The working heights limit is 4 feet. Be aware and respect danger zones and stay 200 feet away from working machinery. To keep our environment clean and safe, do not throw garbage out of the truck at any time. When drivers start their day, they must complete a circle check, fill out their logbook, and Haul 360 booklet. These may be audited, so make sure to fill them out. When traveling on bush roads, there can be no unauthorized passengers in your truck. Obey speed limits and maintain good radio communication. Loaded trucks have the right of way but drive defensively as main roads are shared with the public. When getting loaded, remain in the cab and stay out of the danger zone unless authorized by the loader operator. Maintain radio communication with the equipment operator. Once loaded, log trucks will secure their loads as close to the loading site as possible. Check the load for anything out of the ordinary and trim branches. Then, secure your load. Chip trucks must use the provided stands to secure tarps. Never climb onto loads and call for assistance if the load cannot be secured from the ground or stand. Make sure to check your load before entering onto a highway. Each yard has its own procedures, but all yards require that seatbelts must be worn, headlights must be on when in the yard, no cell phones may be used while driving, and no smoking on site, even inside vehicles. Yard equipment always has the right of way. No truck maintenance can be done in the yard. All loads must be secured before driving onto the scales. Only remove tarps and cables in designated areas. Each yard is different and has its own set of procedures and layout. Every new driver must read the site orientation package the first time they arrive at each site. Report any hazards or incidents. There will be a site induction for each site in addition to this video. Thank you for working with Resolute Forest products and committing to safety.